Okay. Okay, so it's recording. So I want to put in the rattle next, but maybe I should put this in next because this is in front of the rattle and there's an overlap. So I'm going to, so in relationship here, if this is where this is, then here is a little bit higher. And this is where like negative space helps. Remember the negative space?
Mhm.
So this is the bottom of here. I think this is going to start out more over here. So let's see what that gets me where I want to be. No, it's closer. So this is a dried orchid. So it's an organic form and it has some leaves and comes down and this part here. And then there's a part that comes up like this and has a little. And I want to get basically the outside contoured edges. So this is actually two pieces of dried floral material. And this one comes up. There's a piece that comes down here. And then this comes up past this part of this leaf comes up high. So I'm too low down here because this little edge is closer to that. Part of it is that keeps moving, but this is what I do. I just like, I don't like that one. That one doesn't work out for me. So I need to be a little higher when I start. And instead of trying to get all the detailed ridges, come back for that, I want to just get kind of the outline of it right now. So I went too far down. I want to get here. And then here. And then here. So something like that. This shape is still not quite right, but I'm just kind of doing some sketching in. I can erase and figure it out. But I kind of want its placement there a little bit so that I can put in the rattle. So when I look at the negative space, it's not terribly bad. It's not exact, but I can work on it. So here, I'm sure it's just a spam phone call, but my cat is at the vet's, but he would call me on my cell phone. So now I'm going to work on the rattle. And this edge comes and sits on the paper. And we don't see that part of it because the dried orchid is there, but we see it come out here. So that rattle has like a ridge. So if that's the outside, that ridge is going to be somewhere around here. And here, I do see the ridge on that edge. And so that's why I want to capture that. So that kind of goes like that. This comes out here. And then this is the ridge on the rattle. And there's another rounded edge to the rattle, rounded side to the rattle. So I'm not capturing quite how round it is by drawing these flat lines, but when I put in value, I think I can give that illusion. It's one thing to draw items individually, but then to draw them in relationship to each other can be more challenging. And so what I'm trying to do right now is look at that shape and look at that shape and no, it doesn't seem quite right. I think that this part needs to come up more. But then I'm gonna lose my ridge. I can add that in more. And this seems like it should be a little rounder too. And this should be a little rounder down here. And all of this, you know, it's feel free to just kind of like experiment with it as you're going along, because your foundation drawing, and that's what you're doing, you're exploring. And so now this angle of the rattle is going up here. So I think if I put it here, I'm going to have the same type of negative space. So that seems right. And it seems like it's about here in the middle. Comes out. And so what I'm going to do is, because it's a irregular shape, it tapers on both ends, I'm going to just sort of like sketch it in straight, and then I'll add the dimension to it, because I'm more interested in making sure I have the right angle. You see, I'm already going on the wrong angle. And when I draw, a lot of times I look at it and I think I put it down, but when I see it on the paper, I recognize that it's not what I wanted it to be. But I don't worry too much, because it's pencil and we can come erase it and come back and work on it more. So I'm going to get this angle in. So it's like this. And that's the angle. And about, that seems weird now. Now I see what's weird about this. This should be coming down more like this. And it's getting a little close to my key now. So maybe it's not so wide. I'll work on this more later, I guess. Yeah, I feel like this needs to be more, this pulled over here so that this doesn't hit onto the key. So that's, I'm going to fix that the way I want that there, and I'll worry about the rest of it later. So maybe this is more narrow actually than what I had drawn originally. And so for that, this is not, this whole thing is not right angle. More this way. And I'll deal with that later. So, because it'll help that part if I know what is happening here. So here, tapers out, tapers out, tapers back in, tapers back in. Tapers out, tapers out. And from here, this, we see this part of it. And then there's the ridge. And a little bit of the top of it that we see. Okay. So I feel like this part now maybe is too much that way. Well, I see that this needs to come down more like this. And if this is emanating out of here, and that way, these are going to be more. Here. And now this doesn't seem right. And I'm spending a lot of time on the rattle because I'm unhappy with it. And so when that happens, what I recommend is that you kind of move on into doing part of another, but I'm also sort of obsessive, so I'm going to try to fix this right now. Part of it for me too is I can't see close up with my glasses and I can't see far away without them, but I can see okay that far. And so the ridge and then this out here. It's okay, so I'm a little happier with that, once I start putting in the values, I can do the detail, separate these again, I think somehow, move one. Now I'm gonna do the molar that's back here. So that's a glass molar, and I know that these aren't quite right yet, because this is a little bit more full in its sort of, bulbous part, but I can work on that later. And here, where this bulbous part is where this starts to come out. And it has it's transparent, but you can see that it has a neck right here. And this neck starts to come out here. And the top of it has a domed shape. And I'm seeing sort of like a cap because of the reflection of the white paper on it. So on this side, I can see this coming out from behind. But on this side, not so much. Comes out more like that. And then tapers. And I don't really see, this is really covering this part of it. So leave that for now. And I think the shape is okay, not perfect, but it's close enough for now. And so I have my first 4 objects there, and I think they kind of fit the way that, there's no space here. There should be a little bit more space here. And I can always just redo the key if I need to. And now I need to do these last 2 objects. So this is lower on the picture plane, but it's, so the bottom of it is like just below here. And there's a space between here, but the top of it is about here. So I'm trying to gauge about how big it's going to be, that object, from about here to about here. So the top of it There's and maybe it's a little more bulbous, not such a tall stem, but if I'm up that high, the stem should be about that high, so I don't want to make it much smaller. So maybe I am right to make this a little more bulbous. And on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and draw it because it is in front of that. So I think that's okay for that. It seems to be at the right angle. It's actually sitting right here where it hits. And then that glass, there's a negative space in there that this glass is something like top of it, that rim, the widest part of the rim is here, and the widest part of the rim is just inside of there. Now it's a bit taller. So what I'm going to try to do is sort of establish that rim. My rim is a little flatter than what I'm seeing, so I'm going to make it bigger. One of the things is that it does take time. You're going to have to like allot yourself like an hour and a half to sit down and do this. Okay, so maybe it's too wide, but maybe not. I'm gonna do this and see the top of the little cup is that wide, but so it's about as wide as it is tall. So if I make it that tall, it's going to be at about the right spot because it's ends a little bit short of there. So I think I'm going to go ahead and pretty much go with what I have here. And it's got a really kind of strange contoured edge that's not quite straight. It kind of has a little bit of a curvature there, and then it goes straight again. And it ends higher up back here and has a edge, and this actually also has this little edge up here. And then this comes down right there. And another one goes up. And this one starts to go up that way. So every time there's this change right there, there's kind of like a little indentation in the cup. With the shadow there. So I feel like I need to now do the little owl. And he's kind of sitting here. And his outline. So he's taller than this. So he's about this tall. And he comes out, but the tip of this ear is on the inside of here. So the tip of that ear is probably about here. I'm gonna make him a little taller. The last time I drew him too squat. So I'm gonna draw sort of the little triangle on the top of his head that develops his kind of nose there. And his head is at a slight angle. So I'm gonna have to try to capture that. And he's kind of got, his eyes are here. You do see that eye. And then probably you're not seeing the detail. And this comes down to where he's sitting on the cup. And I don't know what that line is, but I'm just going to ignore it for now. And he comes here. And the tail just kind of comes out here. And this should be below here a little, so he's a little bit longer in the tail. Just past this, so something like that. And I'm going to erase this because I don't know what I have up there. So this part seems a little too puffy. So this is where he comes down and is sitting on top of the cup. So, all right, so I feel like I have my objects in now, and I can start to put in values. So do you have any questions, Tiana?
Nope.
Okay,
Pretty
so
good.
I can see the one thing is that this is narrower here than what I have. So I'm gonna try to first refine some of my forms before I start putting in the values. So and a lot of times you might want to erase some of your lines, because when I do this sketch, I'm just wanting to get the main positioning, proportions, and as a sculptor, most of my drawings, until I started teaching drawing, were just basically trying to represent an object that I wanted to make. So I had a lot of leeway. Now, trying to actually make it look as what you see can be tricky. So it's the rattle that was giving me more trouble. And I'm not unhappy too much with this. It's the angle. It looks like it emanates, but when it comes here, it looks like it kind of got had an accident in manufacturing. So I'm going to try to get this so that it looks like it's one piece. And if I have to sort of move the key over, I'll do that. But I want to give myself the room to put this in. So this really does push out more here. And before I do that, I want to look at the angle of this and put in the angle of this. And I think what's important is this ridge, because the ridge is determining the angle. And it's like this. It has an edge here and comes back here and ends there, I think. So then this part comes out and this part also comes out. And this is where it's going here. And if this is coming this way, then this is coming this way a bit. Okay, so still a little off. Now I'm not so unhappy with this side, but it feels awkward still. Still need some more here. That looks better. Now this is still not coming down in the right angle, so now I'm going to redo this part. And even though I'm erasing and it looks like I'm not, I am still developing better form. So here, I think this comes more like this and matches that side more now. This ridge comes up and really comes down like this here. So
Thank you, Professor.
okay,
I'm gonna have to do my next class.
and then I'll just post it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I might speed it up too. All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, thanks. And thanks for helping me figure out how to do the 5 objects.
Okay.
I'll get that.
If this is helpful though?
Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So I'm gonna keep drawing. What I might do is speed this up. Probably, not gonna let this video go for much longer than an hour though. So that looks much better. Well, it's not good, but it's better. So I'm going to go on to here and I can see that there's shadow in here. I'm really wanting to just get my form still though. Okay. I still feel like this is not quite right. There. That feels better. And then this is where the ridge comes up and comes down, and then a little cap. Okay, so here. I feel like I'm seeing too much there. That should be more like that. Okay. This maybe is higher. Yeah, I think it is. Okay. And I can refine that. Here we have the molar. And so the molar is going to be more defined by shadows. I moved my, I don't know why I did that. So I moved that, let's see, here. And here. Since I moved that, I'm going to redraw this. All right, so. All right, I'm going to All right, it's still recording, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end this YouTube video because I don't want it to go so long. I might start it again and finish the drawing or post the drawing finished. I sketched in everything while you were watching, so I might still make adjustments on this and put in some values, and then I'll post an image of it. All right, I'm gonna stop the record now.